Chris is telling me to demand everyone's attention, so if I can have everybody focus on me. I'm gonna read you a speech that I wrote. Am I too close to this mic? No, I'm good? You good? All right. Title of the speech is, What Role Do I Play in My Community? In comments to the escalating crime here in our community and violence amongst our youth and its disturbance to me, I found myself asking this one question amongst others. What role do I play in my community? Do I even have a role? And what is that role? I was born and raised here in Elmira. I was just 2 years old when the Elmira flood took place in June of 1972. So I was too young to remember the incident or what Elmira was even like before the flood took place in our community. But I was raised with the stories of what Elmira was like before the flood, how it was a booming town with so much life, joy, and opportunity, and that how since the flood the town has never been the same. But as a youth growing up, there was always something for me to do, such as events that allowed me the opportunities to role play, whether it was in a church, school, or a community center, along with sports, talent shows, and weekend dances at the YMCA. When I look back at all of this, I ask myself, how is it that all of this was possible? The answer is because someone in the community played a role. Someone took responsibility for me and other youth in our community. Not just my mother, not just my father, and I had both in my life, but I also had other people who played an important role in my life. We were taught, mentored, and guided not by one, but by many, a community that looked at us and instilled in us, that looked at us as their future and instilled in us that we could be and do anything that we wanted to be, so as long as we put our minds to it. But today, somewhere along the lines, our community has taken a turn. Our youth are being lost, therefore our future is at stake, which means that our community is at stake, which has arisen the question, what role do I play in my community? Now, our community is an interacting population of various individuals who live in the same area, such as a city, town, or neighborhood, who have joint ownership or participation within that community. So with this being said, it means that we all hold a responsibility within our community and that we all play a role. I wanted to know what role I played. I wanted to know if I even had a role. I mean, I thought that I was just fine. I go to work, I come home, spend time with my family, go to bed, and that's it. Next day I get up and do it all over again. But obviously this isn't enough, because even though my family and myself appear to be doing well, another family may not be. It could be the household next door, across the street, or across town. Someone is struggling, someone is going through hardship, and someone is at their wit's end, unable to figure out how they are going to make it happen for their family and themselves. It is understandable when the only thing one wants to do is take care of their own family and what we like to call mind our own business. But a lot of times we fail to realize that our community is our business as well. Our business to make sure that it is safe, to make sure that it is clean, and to make sure that it is healthy and growing, so that our kids have a safe, clean, and healthy environment to grow up in. Now, I don't know about you, but it disturbs me when I see on the news kids beating up on other kids and hear about kids not just carrying guns, but actually using them, shooting at other kids. It makes me ask the question, where is our community headed? When I asked myself these questions, it dawned upon me that yes, I do have a role, and that role is to get involved. For I am not just a part of this community, but I am actually the community itself. A small part I may play, but a small part in a big way. Mr. Chris Cade, the founder of Increasing Community Unity, is a good friend of mine. We both know Elmira for what it was, what it has been, and what it still can be. And him, his loyal and dedicated staff of Increasing Community Unity, and myself believe that our community here in Elmira still has plenty of opportunities to offer. But the only way that this can be acclaimed is through unity, working together as a community and taking responsibility and playing our roles as community participants. It is very easy to complain, to point fingers and take judgment out on our officials that are set forth to manage and maintain our community. But if I recall, we are the ones who elect these officials. which goes to say that each of us as individuals within this community have a voice within the community. For some of us, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that some of us believe that that is where our voice ends, electing certain officials to play certain roles and leaving them to be responsible for our community and its twists and turns. This way, when something goes wrong or according to what we like, we then have someone to blame. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you that that's not good enough. And it's obvious because as we sit back, our community is drifting downhill slowly but surely, and our youth are getting lost with it. So I ask you, what good is a community without unity? Supporting one another in the simplest of ways, just through encouragement, acknowledging that to live in a community is actually being of that community. Notice what I just said. To live in a community is to be of that community. I had a gentleman who came into my shop just recently, and he had seen on the news the shootings taking place here in Elmira. He said, "Man, what is going on in your town?" I replied to him that it had nothing to do with me. He looked at me and said, "Well, sure it does. You live here, don't you?" That statement gave me a new perspective on community. It changed my outlook on how I looked at things here in our community. Because I had thought, as long as I kept my head down, be a law-abiding citizen, go to work, pay my taxes, and tend to my family, that things going on within the community had no real effect on me. I was wrong, because I am just as part of this community as anyone else who lives in the community. And when someone from the outside looking in questions my city of residence, it's troubling. Now that I recognize that I do have a role in our community, I encourage all of you to find and acknowledge your roles, for it is not too late to turn our community around and bring it back to a place that we can feel safe to raise our kids and proud to live in. For we all have something to offer, and the kids of this community are our kids and will one day be responsible for the continuance of our community. It is not enough to partake just within our homes, but a strong and necessary need to partake within the community itself. My first question to myself was, what role do I play in my community? The answer is to be active within the community. My second question was, do I even have a role? The answer is yes, I live here in the community, therefore what affects the community affects me and my family as well. My third question, what is that role? This answer goes hand in hand with the answer to the first question, which is being active within the community. Being active is getting involved. You don't have to get involved with everything, but get involved with something. Again, it is too easy to complain, and I'm not saying that any of you here are complaining, because it is obvious that you are interested and have concerns with the things that have been going on within our community. It is also obvious that you are interested in bettering our community and bringing it back to the type of community that we once knew and loved, because you are here tonight at this event, and that says something. It is the responsibility of us all as individuals and as a whole to take ownership in the affairs that take place within our community. There are numerous committees and organizations here in our community working hard day and night to help turn Elmira around. They need you, we need you, and you yourself need you to get out and get involved. This is our home, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse, and it's up to us to catch it before it gets out of hand. What role do you play in the community? Yes, you do have a role, and that role is being active within the community. Thank you.